Well, everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You know I like to go thrifting and find things that are odd and vintage and clean them up. What do you think about this bird cage? I saw this at the checkout and took a step back and flinched when I saw that price. Yesterday was the last Tuesday of the month and it was half off everything in the store. There's no way this was out on the floor or it would not have made it for $8. Well, I put it in my cart and I did a quick Google and I looked it up. This can actually be used for a little canary or finch. The bowls and the perches, everything is attached. Look at that. So, here's a little screenshot of what I found online. So we're going to do some cleaning up. I like to use lemon oil to take off sticker or sticky residue and tape. You want it looking clean and nice. This is not something I will keep for myself. You'll be able to find it right away on the Etsy shop. If you're seeing this video, it's on there unless it's already sold. So last time I did a video like this, it was for a wood carrying cradle holder for firewood. And it was an old claw-footed vintage brass, and it sold within a very short amount of time of listing it for sale. So there's the remnants of a sticker there that we need to remove. There's nothing left visible for a maker's mark. Usually all this old brass is made in India. So if I polish this up with a little bit of oil, I may be able to find something indicating a maker. So somebody obviously had tried to clean it at some point, and there's lots of little discolorations or color variations in it, and you can see that a lot on the bottom. Like I said, there's no maker's mark, and I was able to get the sticker residue off of the bottom. But just going over that lightly with some gentle lemon oil polish, it helps kind of pick up any leftover cleaner and a lot of dirt and residue. This was just a white t-shirt, and that's just, you know, seconds of scrubbing and cleaning. What they did is probably used something like toothpaste or Brasso. And in my previous video when I cleaned brass, I actually showed the Brasso product. And some people prefer ketchup or lemon juice and baking soda. It's going to clean this up a lot, especially when you look on the underside. They did all the surfaces and left a lot of residue behind. So by going over all of it, literally with a fine tooth comb, cotton swabs, your finger, you know, on a rag, anything, we're going to be able to clean this up, but keeping that patina, not rubbing too hard, not polishing heavily. You could use microfiber towels. I just use like old t-shirts and socks for this kind of stuff in our house because it's very gentle. Isn't that just adorable? I'll just clean up all the pieces. So doing all this scrubbing in all these little crevices like this, first I'm more or less saturating it with the oil, and then you go back and kind of polish it and clean up any excess oil, and it will remove the dirt or the cleaning residue that was left behind. So I'm going over the whole thing. Now there are several screws that if you wanted to disassemble this, but to be able to get a screwdriver here straight in would be very hard to do. There's a few of those, and everything on the inside is also screwed in. I don't know if you would want to actually use it for a bird. I think a trip to a craft store for some artificial bird and flowers would be really nice. You could even get a recording or play some sounds in the background with some birds. That would be very nice. Just a nice little bonus feature in your home. So just put a little bit of oil on there and just generously getting between. Now you could do this with a toothbrush, but I don't want the whole house covered in oil from splattering. And then go over each wire. And then we'll do the same thing on each side of this and flip it over the bottom side as well. Now the reason I like the lemon oil is that it's not going to take off a lot of the years of patina, the aged brass look. If you were to shine this up a lot, you could get yourself into a lot of variations in the colors like here. So it's better to give it a light to medium cleaning or scrubbing. Now the hard part is going on the inside and getting the edges. So see, like that one Q-tip just from one side, it gets gross. So when you find things like this, a lot of people just have the rule that, well, whatever I price it at is going to be double or so of what I paid. Well, the Etsy fees have increased. The postal fees have increased. And then Etsy takes a portion of that shipping cost also. So you have to factor in the Etsy fee of the shipping cost for addition, plus your packing materials. So be mindful of that in your pricing. A lot of people just go with market value, you know, other comparables online. So I could price this the same as the one on Etsy. There was one on eBay, a little bit different design. But if I did that, what are the chances of mine selling over the similar ones? So you price it below theirs, and yours is going to be the one that sells. So keep that in mind. Anything that you make on this over the cost, and our stores are not tax exempt here in Michigan, so keep that in mind also. You're paying sales tax to buy it and have it inventory in your store. Being a higher end item, it may take a while to sell. But with Mother's Day coming, this is a great thing to have available as a gift. So if you're ever reselling things, a good note to have, mental note, is natural sunlight and accessories for staging. However, make sure that you include in your description that any accessories pictured are for demonstration purposes only and not part of the sale of the item. But look at how much that looks nice versus in the house where I'm losing light. The light bulbs just don't put out the right kind of light. And I honestly do stage a lot on my piano and on the Grafanola. So a little bit of a change, really, with the sun setting, is showing the brass and how beautiful that is. So another thing to remember when you are doing any listings for things online, include measurements whenever possible. And I tend to take photos of the item with the tape measure in the shot so that people understand the actual size of the item. And it doesn't always come across. See, it looks like I'm going over, but this is actually measuring 8 inches on the bottom on the diagonal, and each individual section is 4. So I want to lay that out, because if somebody ever wanted to make a template to actually size this for their staging, then they could. And then of course the height of the item, and then if you can, the actual usable height of the item also. So that base is 2 inches. You've got 9 inches of usable space. Right there. So for me in Michigan, to find something this valuable in the thrift store for that little of an investment is a really rare find. Probably one of the best things I've ever found at the thrift store. Was too far priced out of my range. I had been looking for some wicker furniture, and there was a wicker furniture set with 2 chairs, the love seater sofa, a couple of side tables, and they had it at $500–600. Even at half off, that was out of my price range. I tend to find my stuff free by the side of the road or on Facebook Marketplace way cheaper. So this was going to be just a great find, great way to end the day. And check my other Etsy listings. I found a wonderful vintage lampshade that I also found for sale on eBay today for $90. So I've easily got almost $600 worth of items in those 2 things for resale, and I'll sell them for less. So check out our Etsy shop, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.